Most people remember the moment without making much of it. You're standing in front of the mirror after a long day, maybe loosening your belt, maybe pulling at a shirt that used to fall straight but now seems to catch in one place. It isn't dramatic. It isn't sudden. It's just there. A soft fullness that wasn't part of your body before, or at least not in this way. You tell yourself it's age, or stress, or that you've been sitting more. You shrugged, because life is busy, and this feels like a small thing compared to everything else you're carrying. Still, later that night, or weeks later, when the same mirror shows you the same shape, a quiet question lingers. When did this happen, and why does it feel different from before? By the time most of us reach the middle stretch of adulthood, we've learned to accept changes without asking too many questions. The world teaches us to call them normal. Weight shifts, energy fades, sleep changes, patience thins. We're told this is simply the cost of growing older, of working hard, of having responsibilities. And there's truth in that. Life does leave marks on the body. But not everything that's common is meaningless, and not every change is random. When the body alters itself in a specific way, especially around the center, it's rarely doing so by accident. It's responding. It's adapting. It's trying to communicate something in the only language it has. I've spoken with many people who feel almost embarrassed bringing this up, as if noticing their own body is a form of vanity or weakness. They'll say they're not looking to be young again, not chasing some old version of themselves. They just want to understand why their body feels unfamiliar. That instinct to understand is a healthy one. It's the same instinct that tells you to slow down when you're tired or to rest when something aches. The belly that grows quietly after years of holding steady isn't a moral failure, and it isn't proof that you've done something wrong. It's more like a message left on your desk after you've been too busy to check your mail. For a long time, the body is remarkably good at absorbing pressure. It handles deadlines, worry, skipped meals, rushed mornings, and long evenings without complaint. It learns to run on tension and momentum. In your younger years, this flexibility feels endless. You can push, recover, push again, and the body finds a way to keep up. But adaptation has layers. When the demands stay high and the pauses stay short, the body begins to make quieter adjustments. It shifts how it stores energy. It changes how it protects itself. The center of the body becomes a kind of safe house, a place to hold reserves, a buffer against uncertainty. This isn't sabotage. It's strategy. Think of the body as something deeply practical. It doesn't judge your choices. It doesn't keep score. It only responds to patterns. If your days are full of pressure, your nights short or restless, your meals hurried or eaten without attention, the body takes note. It hears the signal that the world is demanding and unpredictable. In response, it prepares. It holds on. The belly, soft and central, is one of the places where this preparation shows up. Not because you lack discipline, but because your system is prioritizing safety over appearance. What's often misunderstood is the idea the body is breaking down. People talk about slowing metabolism or aging systems, as if something essential has been lost. In truth, much of what we see is the body becoming more cautious. When you're younger, it spends energy freely, trusting that recovery will come easily. As life grows heavier with responsibility, the body becomes a better accountant. It conserves. It stores. It tries to smooth out the highs and lows. The belly is part of that ledger, not a sign of failure, but of calculation. There's also an emotional side that rarely gets acknowledged. Many adults spend years holding things in. Worry for family, pressure at work, unspoken disappointments, the quiet weight of being needed. These things don't vanish just because we don't talk about them. The body carries them in its own way. The center of the body, close to breath and digestion, often reflects how much we're holding internally. When that area changes, it can feel like the body is revealing something we'd rather keep private. But it's not exposing you. It's expressing itself. This is where the story usually goes wrong, because we're taught to respond with force, to tighten, restrict, correct, to declare war on the part of ourselves that's changed. That response makes sense in a culture that values control and quick fixes. But the body doesn't speak the language of punishment. It understands consistency, safety, and trust. When it sends a signal and receives aggression in return, it doesn't relax, it braces. It holds on even more tightly because the environment feels harsher, not calmer. Listening, in this context, doesn't mean obsessing or analyzing every sensation. It means softening the stance you take toward yourself. It means asking quieter questions. Not what did I do wrong, but what has my body been dealing with? Not how do I get rid of this, but what is it trying to manage? These questions don't demand immediate answers. They simply open space. And space is something many adults haven't given themselves in a long time. As we move beyond early adulthood, the body also becomes more honest. It stops compensating as dramatically for habits that don't serve it. This honesty can feel like betrayal at first. You might remember a time when you could eat, work, sleep, and stress in certain ways without visible consequence. That doesn't mean those patterns were harmless then. It means the body was covering for you. Over time, it asks for a more balanced relationship. When that request goes unheard, it finds ways to make itself visible. None of this requires blame. Blame is heavy, and most people are already carrying enough. You didn't choose every demand placed on you. You didn't design a world that moves as fast as it does. You adapted the best you could, and your body adapted with you. That deserves respect, not criticism. When you see that soft growth around your middle, you're not seeing a personal flaw. You're seeing a record of endurance. There's a deep relief that comes when people realize their body isn't working against them. I've seen shoulders drop and breathing slow when that understanding settles in. The body wants to feel safe. It wants to know that it doesn't have to stay on alert forever. When it senses steadiness, when it senses that it's being listened to rather than fought, it responds in subtle ways. Not overnight, not dramatically, but with a gradual sense of ease. That ease often shows itself first as better sleep, calmer digestion, a quieter mind. Changes in shape, if they come, follow that internal shift, not the other way around. It's also important to remember that adulthood is not a static phase. You are not meant to look or feel the same decade after decade. The goal isn't to return to an earlier version of yourself, but to inhabit the current one more comfortably. When you stop measuring your body against old photographs or outdated expectations, you give it permission to settle. And when the body settles, it often finds a balance that no amount of force could create. I've had conversations with people who thought their expanding waistline meant they were losing control of their life. In reality, it often meant the opposite. It meant they had taken on more responsibility, more care for others, more sustained effort. Their body had adjusted to support that role. The problem wasn't the adaptation. The problem was that no one had told them they were allowed to adapt again. It's time with more kindness and awareness. This isn't about doing more or trying harder. Most adults don't need another task added to their list. It's about changing the quality of attention you bring to yourself. About noticing how you feel during the day, not just how you look. About recognizing tension and fatigue as information, not obstacles to push through. When that mindset shifts, the body often responds with gratitude. Expressed not in words, but in a gradual sense of coherence. If you're standing in front of the mirror tonight and feeling confused or disappointed by what you see, take a moment to breathe and remember this. Your body has been listening to your life more closely than you have. It has adjusted to protect you, to keep you going, to help you survive long stretches of demand. That softness is not a verdict. It's a conversation starter. You don't need to rush to answer it. Conversations that matter take time. They unfold over quiet mornings, slower meals, moments of rest that don't feel earned, but necessary. They unfold when you stop asking your body to be something it no longer is. Start inviting it to tell you what it needs now. There's a quiet confidence that comes with age when you allow it. A sense that you don't have to wrestle yourself into shape to be worthy of care. Your body is not an enemy to conquer, but a companion that's been with you through every chapter so far. If it's speaking up now, it's not to criticize you. It's to be heard. And when you listen, truly listen, You may find that the story it's telling is not one of decline, but of resilience. A reminder that even now, especially now, your body's intelligent, responsive, capable of change when it feels safe enough to let go.